What's up, y'all, and welcome to Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast powered by Old City Sports Network, the best network for all your Philadelphia sports needs. This is your host, Michael Roscoe. It's been a bit of a quiet week for Philadelphia Eagles news specifically, so in this short episode, we'll talk about a couple Eagles-related things, but more so a couple of events that have happened across the league. Without wasting any more time, let's dive right into it. Starting off with the Eagles-related news, the team will finally be getting their Super Bowl rings after what seems like a shit ton of delays later, y'all. So the team should be, and I say should because you never know if it's going to get delayed again, should be receiving their Super Bowl champion rings on July 18th with a ceremony that same day. Now, apparently the ceremony is going to be a closed event to the public, but there have been rumors that it could be live streamed on the internet, but we'll just have to wait and see if that actually happens. In yet another classic WIP radio instance of just pure insanity of making shit up during the off season because you're running out of shit to talk about for whatever fucking reason, WIP 94 Radio had tweeted out a perplexing question of, should the Eagles trade a pick and Nolan Smith for TJ Watt? And then you had some people on the show be like, I would do it without like any thought process whatsoever. Yeah, trade him. And all I can do is just look at these motherfuckers and be like, are y'all serious right now? Trade Nolan Smith and a pick for TJ Watt? Now, don't get me wrong. TJ Watt is a phenomenal athlete, but the whole idea of that, to me, it's just fucking stupid, y'all. Now, despite the injuries that he's had, Nolan Smith actually put up better stats than TJ Watt did in the final 6 games of the season for each of them, accumulating 3 more sacks than Watt did. Now, that's in no way me saying that Nolan Smith is much better than TJ Watt. There's years of discrepancy before we even figure that out. Watt's got like, what, 7-8 years to Nolan Smith's 2 years? But anyway, plus Nolan Smith is like, what, 24 years old and still on a rookie contract, literal pennies on the dollar, while TJ Watt is almost, what, 31 years old and would cost at least $30 to $35 million more per year than Smith would? It's just fucking dumb. It's not feasible. Even if it was a first round pick, I think the Eagles would be foolish to trade away Nolan Smith for all that he's done so far, the potential he brings to the team in the future, and his current minimal financial hit to the overall team cap. Is he one of the smaller edge rushers, and did he have, a little bit of a slower start to his rookie season than people might have expected? Sure. But he's obviously had tremendous upside since then and has upside going into this year and has significantly improved from his rookie year. Including this postseason, he's had 58 total tackles, 10.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 pass deflections. Oh, and he toughed it out for the whole game in the Super Bowl with a torn fucking triceps, which is just brutal. And there are people who'd want to trade him away? That's just so fucking dumb. I'm sorry. It's dumb. Plus, the Eagles made a bunch of cheap deals, didn't hop on the Jalen Ramsey or Jair Alexander train. So why the fuck would we go all out for TJ Watt for over $35 million a year? Because that's what I would expect him to expect from the Eagles. It just doesn't make sense. It's not a talent thing. It is a money thing and a long-term investment thing. We're looking to keep things young and financially stable on a per year basis. I just don't get why organizations like WIP want to hop on this old head train and series of short term investments like Jalen Ramsey and TJ Watt that are going to be, you know, millions upon millions of dollars a year. And there's the potential that it just doesn't work out. I'm just glad that they're not running the Eagles organization because the team would be in the fucking toilet if it were up to them. But speaking of Jalen Ramsey, that leads me into our first NFL league topic of tonight. So the Steelers and the Dolphins made a pretty big trade, in my opinion. The Miami Dolphins are sending all-pro corner Jalen Ramsey, tight end Jonnu Smith, and a 2027 seventh round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers for all-pro safety Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 2027 fifth round pick. The Steelers are going to be taking on a nearly $27 million hit for Ramsey's paycheck, which includes a $1.5 million increase to his original salary just for the 2025 season alone, which I don't know how the fuck they're going to pay TJ Watt at this point. But anyway, the Steelers add another older veteran to their secondary after acquiring Darius Slay from the Eagles in free agency, while the Dolphins are reunited with Minkah Fitzpatrick, the team that originally drafted him back in 2018. And our other big final league-wide bit of news for this episode: Darren Waller is back in the NFL? So this is something I didn't see coming, y'all. Apparently, the Giants are trading tight end Darren Waller and a conditional 2027 seventh round pick to the Dolphins for a 2026 sixth round pick. Now you might be thinking, Michael, what the fuck are you talking about? Darren Waller retired 2 years ago. And you would be right, because he sure as shit did. However, he is making a comeback to the league, signing a 1-year deal worth $5 million with the Dolphins. After trading away Jonnu Smith to the Steelers, the Dolphins are in need of a power tight end and are taking a bet on Waller to step in and be that guy. Now, he's already landed on the first string tight end depth chart for the Dolphins. However, it'll be interesting to see how he performs after being away from football for 2 years. What I don't understand is, how is this process a trade from the Giants if he's been retired? Like, did the Giants still have him under contract despite retirement if he ever returned to the league or some shit like that? I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah, Darren Waller is back in the NFL and he is now a Miami Dolphin. Now, after looking at both of these events with the Dolphins, the Steelers, and the Giants, it may not be directly obvious that any of these trades have anything to do with the Philadelphia Eagles, because just directly looking at them, they have absolutely nothing to do with the Eagles. But according to some other Eagles content creators, such as Thomas Mott and Josh Davis, this could be like a domino effect that could have a correlation to our Philadelphia Eagles. They made some arguments such as that we could land safety Justin Simmers for an even cheaper deal, since Minkah Fitzpatrick's deal is cheaper than what was expected, or that the Eagles could look to add tight end Darnell Washington from the Steelers now that they have Jonnu Smith, so that the Eagles could have a tight end locked down past the 2025 season, since Goddard and all the other tight ends contracts that we have currently do not go beyond the 2025 season. And to me, in hindsight, those arguments make sense. But my point in saying this being is that in a weird way, some events like the Dolphins-Steelers trade and the Giants-Dolphins trade could somehow end up benefiting the Eagles through a random chain of events and Howie Roseman's incredible patience to wait for the league to make moves on their own that'll benefit Roseman and the Birds in the long run. We're still about 19 days away from training camp, so we'll see what the Birds do, if anything, between now and then, and how these events could possibly impact the Eagles. All right, y'all, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok by searching at 2nd and 15. That's 2NDAND15. or by the full name Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast. You can also find the audio for each and every single episode airing Thursday mornings on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Player FM, Pocket Casts, or wherever you get your podcasts, with the video uploading later that same day onto YouTube. This episode, Second and 15, and Old City Sports Network are brought to you by Iron and Steel Threads. Check out ironsteelthreads.com and use our promo code OldCity10, E at the end of old in all capitals, with the number 10, for 10% off the entire website. A portion of the proceeds will go to youth hockey organizations, so it is a great cause. Check it out at ironsteelthreads.com using our promo code OldCity10. Once again, thanks y'all for joining in. This is Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast powered by Old City Sports Network. We will see you all next week. And for my American listeners, have a happy Independence Day. Stay safe, stay smart out there. Don't forget to stay fly like an eagle. And as always, go Birds.